During my first year as a design engineer at an industrial robotics startup, I learned a lot, both technically and non-technically, industrial lessons and life lessons. So I'm going to share some of those with you today. We'll start with industrial lessons. First, education can't top experience. You can pack a lot of theoretical knowledge into 4 years of school, but the implementation you learn at on-the-job training. The old technicians who have been doing engineering work for decades can teach you more tips, tricks, and best practices than you will ever learn in school. So get your hands dirty early. Internships and part-time technical jobs are a great way to get in the game. Working for a startup where you have the opportunity for a variety of active roles is a great first job when you're young and single. You may be overworked and underpaid, but you'll get more experience in 2 years there than at 5 in a big company where you're locked into one little role. And once you're ready to settle down, need good benefits and family time, you'll be a great candidate for a stable but more boring position. Next lesson, automation increases efficiency, but don't share all your secrets. I'm always coming up with ways to increase efficiency. And at the robotics startup where I work, there were plenty of opportunities to do this. You will often find that organizations are much less organized than they appear from the outside. We were automating processes for our customers, so I extended this to my own tasks by setting up templates with easy user interfaces and behind-the-scenes calculations. Using knowledge of homogeneous transformations, I made a spreadsheet with digitized robot workspaces and customizable cell layouts for robot specking. After I got tired of redesigning end effectors for every part that came through the line, I set up a gripper generator template where you could type in the size of the part and it would spit out files for 3D printing. And everything I did, I documented, so my coworkers could easily use my templates without having to do the math or CAD themselves. Problem was, I took it too far and eliminated the need for my own position. Lesson learned. Third, double check everything. You will always regret a rush job. Better to take the time now than to make a costly mistake and have to fix it later. I learned this 2 ways. One was when I had to calibrate a camera to a robot when there were multiple versions of the code on the robot. My coworker who wrote the codes said the robot would know which one to use. Of course it didn't, and the robot went out of control, smacked into a column, and damaged the $500 calibration plate. Good thing I was back behind the column or I could have been taken out too. The second thing I learned to double check was design drawings. Too many times, my boss decided he wanted a part design and sent out that day. After rushing the job and realizing my mistakes afterwards, I had to stand up to him and refuse same-day turnaround. It is always better to look over something the morning after your late-night push to catch stupid mistakes before the part comes back wrong. So set internal deadlines for yourself before something is really due. Then you'll produce quality work because you'll have time the next day to check it before submitting. And as with the previous caveat, don't overdo this. Finally, safety is paramount, but not everybody has a safety mindset. When I first got to the startup, I was appalled by the lack of safety measures. Duct tape on the floor instead of barriers around the robots, technicians in flip-flops, minimal PPE, no clamps for drilling, etc. I actually used my legs to clamp a cylindrical part, ended up drilling into my leg, and had to go get a tetanus shot. So I learned my lesson, but we all learned the hard way when someone had to go to the emergency room after an accident. Then they hired an old electrical technician who implemented circuit breakers, lockout, tagout procedures, and other safety measures to get us in the green. So those are the industrial lessons that I learned during my first year working at the robotics startup.